Is there objective morality? What does that mean? What does that mean for there to be objective morality? I think in order for there to be an objective morality, you kind of have to change the concept of morality. And I think that's why this conversation oftentimes doesn't go anywhere. Because you can try to come up with a moral system that is based on something objective. And I think the one thing you could do that with is well being. You can say that morality should be based on well being, that if you hurt somebody, that's immoral. And if you try to improve somebody's life, that is being moral. Or you could say that, kind of define the ends of the spectrum. You could say that, the worst suffering for every conscious being is the worst state morally, and some sort of utopia is the best possible state. And so now you've defined a system of morality that is based on some sort of objective metric, because suffering or well-being it's a state of a subjective entity, but it is an objective state. It's a fact whether or not somebody is suffering or not. So you could say, okay, well, now that I have a moral system which is based in objective reality, but that doesn't mean you have the objective system of morality, because that's just another system of morality that you kind of put forward. I feel like it's kind of, there's a corollary with standards within software development. There's no one official standard. People try to, people just present various standards that you can adhere to or not adhere to, and then you have 20 different standards, and it's a nightmare. And then somebody says, well, I'm going to solve this situation. I'm going to put forward a standard. This is going to be the official standard. It's not the official standard. There's no way to have an official standard. The only way you can have an official standard is to have some sort of official governing body. But what makes that governing body official? It's still just a de facto official governing body. The fact is, there's no top-down structure to any of this. It's all bottom-up, and it's all about consensus. And you can find a bunch of people who agree, but if there's people who decide not to agree, there's nothing you can do about that. And it's kind of the same thing with morality. It's fundamentally subjective. And well, that's the issue. People say that it is fundamentally subjective. So no matter what you do, no matter how much you talk, no matter how much you rationalize for why this version of morality makes the most sense, you're not changing the definition, the idea of what a system of morality is. And I think that's why the conversation doesn't get anywhere. You have one person kind of really kind of drilling down into why their conception of morality is based in science and it's based in objectivity. And they're right. Everything they're saying is correct. There are facts about happiness and well-being, and there are states of the world which correlate with more well-being, and there are things people can do or not do that are going to kind of tip the scale in either direction. And the other person is saying, yes, I get that, you're right from a scientific perspective, but if somebody has a system of morality where they don't value well-being, who's to say that you're right? And I just feel like every single conversation I've seen about that, it's never really addressing that issue. It's never really getting to the fact that one person is playing with a definition where there's really nothing you can do, and the other person is kind of maybe they're just disagreeing with that premise. It's like one person is kind of embracing the premise of it's fundamentally subjective, and the other person is saying, well, no, it's not. feel like I've never heard anybody really battle that kind of disagreement out. It's just like different people are adopting different priors, and they can't have a conversation about that clash of priors. And I kind of feel like, I don't know, it almost seems like a conversation about semantics. It's like, it's not really, and I guess maybe that's kind of me putting myself on the side of the kind of relativity of morality, where it's like, what is morality? If morality is defined as subjective, then nothing you can say will ever move that dial. And if you think that, well, that's not actually true, it's not subjective, it has the same objectivity, then you're not really putting forward a scientific argument. You're just redefining morality. Anyways, I don't think this rant is going to move the dial of the conversation, but it does kind of feel like, from my perspective, it is frustrating, because in some ways it just feels like people are, when they're talking about this, they're kind of talking past each other, and they're not getting to the core. They're not having like the clash of concepts. They're not meeting each other head on in what the fundamental disagreement is. But maybe they are, and I'm just not smart enough to kind of recognize that. But anyways, fuck is complicated.